Hi friends, E.C. Maltbia here, Senior Pastor of the True Holiness Saints Center in the beautiful city of Conway, Arkansas. And you know what time it is. It is Wednesday Word time. So what is our Wednesday Word for tonight? Our Wednesday Word is words. And I want you to know that your words have creative power. So what I want to do tonight is simply start with our social media quote for tonight. What is our social media quote? It is simply a thought or thesis that we'd like for you to put out on your social media platforms that will direct our discussion tonight. We encourage you to put it out there for inspiration and also for information. So here's our thought, our thesis, our social media quote for tonight. Don't underestimate the power of words. Don't underestimate the power of your words. Again, ma'ams and sirs, I want to remind you that your words have creative power. So here's what I want to do tonight in a very short period of time. I want to give you 3 things that Christians don't say. 3 things that Christians don't do with their words. Number 1, don't complain. Yeah, as Christians, we shouldn't be in the habit of complaining. The Bible says it like this in Philippians 2:14. It says, do everything without complaining or arguing. So why is complaining so harmful, Pastor Maltbia? And there are a lot of reasons why complaining is harmful, but let me just give you 2 or 3. Number 1, complaining is harmful because complaining poisons your attitude. In fact, complaining makes things worse but never better. Think about it. When you're an angry person, when you're upset about something, complaining about it makes you more angry, not less angry. When you're frustrated about something, complaining about that thing makes you more frustrated and not less frustrated. When you're discontented about something, complaining makes you more discontented, not less discontented. Why? Because complaining always makes things worse. It never makes things better. Complaining poisons your attitude. But then secondly, complaining is contagious. Did you not know that complaining is spread from person to person? When people start complaining, it can change the very mood of the entire group of people. When one person starts to complain, if you're not careful, that complaining spirit, that negativity will affect everybody's attitude and outlook and even cause a stumbling block for many. Complaining is contagious. Complaining poisons your attitude. But then thirdly, complaining in certain instances can imply that you don't trust God the way you should. Now let that sink in. When you complain in certain instances, it really implies that you don't trust God the way you should. So here's the question. When things get tough in your life, when you have a disappointment or a setback, do you look for the good in the situation, or do you simply start complaining like God is no longer on the throne? Do you look for opportunities? Do you look for ways to get around what's going on? Or do you mope and complain and grumble as if God has walked away from you? Complaining in certain circumstances and situations implies that you don't trust God the way you should. So instead of complaining, dear hearts, as Christians, we should look for the good in every situation. Instead of complaining, we should be people who see the glass half full instead of half empty. We have got to stop complaining, because when you stop complaining, it will improve your attitude and your outlook. So number one, Christians shouldn't complain. But then secondly, Christians don't lie. Yeah. As children of God, we should not be in the business of lying to one another. Colossians 3:3 says it like this: do not lie to each other, since you have taken off your old self with its evil practices. In other words, the Apostle Paul basically says to us, you're saved now, and you need to give up lying, because Christians don't lie. So why is lying so harmful in the life of the Christian? Lying is harmful for a lot of reasons, but here's two to think about. Number one, lying is harmful because it weakens relationships. I want you to think about this. If you lie to me, that means I can't trust you. And relationships are built on the foundation of trust. When I can no longer trust you, it begins to weaken our relationship. So lying weakens relationships, yes, but also lying causes conflict. See, when you lie to me, it weakens our relationship because I don't trust you. But when you lie on me, it causes conflict. When you tell an untruth about me, it causes strain in our relationship. It causes discontentment in our relationship. It causes conflict. Christians don't lie to each other, and they don't lie on one another. What is lying, Pastor Maltbia? In my opinion, lying is simply the intent to deceive. So don't omit information, don't exaggerate the story, and don't downplay what's going on. Here's what I know about people. People lie all the time, even Christians. Think about it. People lie on their resumes and on applications to get a job. People exaggerate the facts or the details of a story to make themselves look better. People even lie about other people to discredit them or make themselves look better. People lie all the time. But all lying does is weakens relationships and causes conflict. And then the last one tonight is simply this: Christians don't complain. Christians don't lie. And then the third one, Christians don't gossip. The Bible says it like this. In Proverbs, I think chapter 20, around verse 19. But it says, a gossip betrays a confidence. So avoid a man who talks too much. That's somebody's word for the rest of the week. A gossip betrays a confidence. So avoid people who talk too much. Most gossip is meant to damage a person's credibility or to ruin their reputation. Gossip happens when you share confidential information that was never intended for anyone else's ears but yours. So how, as Christians, should we respond to gossip? How, as Christians, should we respond to those who gossip? 3 things I will say to you, and I'm going to close tonight. Number 1, as a Christian, when you come in contact with a person who gossips, you got 3 options. Number one, you can ignore it and walk away. In other words, when somebody starts gossiping, whether it's in the break room or at the family function, you can basically say to them, guys, if you're going to talk about folks, I can't be a part of that, and throw up the deuces. You can ignore it and walk away. When they try to bring you into the conversation, you can find another group to hang out with. You can walk out of the room. You can throw up the deuces. You can ignore it and walk away. But then secondly, you can change the subject. Yeah. Sometimes the easiest thing to do and the wisest thing to do when people start gossiping is to simply change the subject matter. Sometimes your best course of action is to redirect the conversation to something more appropriate or something more positive. There are times when I'm in conversations with people and the conversation goes left. I have a phrase that I like to say, let's change the conversation. Let's change the conversation. So you can ignore it or walk away. You can change the subject matter. Here's the last one. You can confront it and shut it down. When folks start gossiping, there are times that you ought to confront them and shut it down. There are times when you look someone in their face and say, now you know that they would not appreciate you talking about them like this behind their back. Sometimes you look a person in their face and say, now you know you're wrong for that. God doesn't like ugly. But sometimes you've got to confront people and shut it down. So our Wednesday word tonight is words. Don't ever underestimate the power of your words, because your words have creative power. So as Christians, don't complain, don't lie, and please, ma'ams and sirs, don't gossip. Until we speak again, my friends, be blessed.